So we're back, but for how freaking long? Am I good? No, I'm not good. we're gonna quick get in the air. I'll be back. I'll get back to to chat once we get in the air. Pumps, altitude, heading, AC off, screw it. Doors, windows, pitot heat, de-ice, landing light, sure. Strobes, time note, taken off. Okay. Clearing the area, going forward. We're taking off 2-3. And we'll see what happens. Ugh. Looks like potentially slight crosswind, so I'll go like so. Get to center line like a professional. Throttles in. Thinking about positive rate gear up. We don't need boost bumps on this one. Keeping it on the runway until red line. Alright, and then we go. If my frickin' yoke would... Oh my god. I'm sorry, chicken, you're in the way. Positive rate, gear up. Which button is it? God damn it. Okay, gear's coming up. Bring it back to 25s. We're heading 2-3 and we need to turn this way. Why? Continue our climb. Okay. I think we're on. Okay. Positive rate, gear came up. I remembered, yay. Oil pressure and temperature we were supposed to be looking at. It still looks good. Sorry, going here. Rotate at post red line. BY did the thing. Gear up, we climbed. Throttle 25, mixture as required. We'll start, well, no, we'll leave it there for a second. Fuel pumps, didn't need it. Prop sink we'd put on. The yaw damper would go on, question mark. Cowl flaps are open. Or... Instruments, taxi, landing light off. It's already off because I probably pressed some button. Oh yeah, strobes. Flight plan open. Heading up to 7,000. We'll see how well that works. Once we get to cruise, throttle, props, do the mixture, fuel pumps as required. Probably not necessary. Cowl flaps, close, instruments, oxygen. Okay, hi. How's it going? Going nuts. Okay. All right. Ain't kidding. There were 80 of you in the jet engine lab, and you needed to reassemble the engine that you had taken apart. Your friend and you were about to start the work, and the instructor was like, no. He dragged you out of the hangar and had you inspect the Rolls-Royce RB211 engine. He knew if you were in that lab putting the engine back together again, you would be the only ones putting the engine back together, and he didn't want that. Then that is good on that instructor for recognizing that stuff, and recognizing the people who actually do the stuff. Okay, don't need that. There we go. You mean you kind of have to, when it comes to safety, no other way around it. Right, exactly. But there are. I have a certain story. It's not necessarily potentially semi-safety related, but also maybe we'll get to it. You don't know why, but it looks like trying to DJ the levers. Oh, yeah, okay, yeah. When the thing when I feathered the props and they were still going, and I thought that maybe I could do stuff and it would do things, and because that's happened before where I just do stuff and it works. Yep. I enjoy that. Plus with the rave pants and everything. Allowed to do both simultaneously at the same time. Are you talking about the magnetos or the engines? It depends. Yeah, so you do left and right at the same time, because both the needles would go. Some people do each. If you wanted to be thorough, not that you wouldn't be thorough doing both, but just like less workload sort of a thing. But yeah, I'm trying to get to the point where I'm good enough to do both at the same time. Welcome back, my good. And welcome back again. Thank you. Sorry, I apologize. The question: when I'm doing the run up, am I allowed to run up? Yeah, sorry, both engines simultaneously and at the same time. Yes. Yeah. Yep. Oh, hang on. Yes. In the Baron we definitely did, and then when I'm doing my MEI training, we do. You might check things one at a time. And now I'm trying to remember. Yeah, the Baron you definitely do. Run it up. Lefts, rights. Check the thing. And then, yeah, yes. Sorry. Didn't know I hadn't caught up with chat. Yeah, sorry, copy. Wasn't sure. You always thought it was one at a time. And I guess that's the thing too, is like things that I'm learning, hopefully that are from other people that aren't deviations from what should be normal. Does that make sense? Because yeah, I mean, like I trust people that I learn from. I don't learn from people that I don't trust. But nobody's perfect, so there could be things that. Thank you, autopilot. There could be things that I learn that aren't the way to do things, and then I learn later that I'm like, you know what, I'm gonna do things a different way. So yes, makes sense. Good. I do. I apologize. So I'm gonna try to slam through. So okay, to set the stage. Oh, sorry. Hang on. So to set the stage, little bit of, well, you know what? I'm gonna ignore that. We're gonna ignore that. We're just gonna go right to stuff that's actually freaking relevant. So streamed and then did that. The Baron was at somewhere to get a bunch of stuff taken care of, and so needed to go pick it back up. That week I was also okay, so that week I was also planning on soloing the plane that I'm doing my multi in for the first time. So this will be the third type of plane that I would end up soloing in as of now. So I've done the Cessna 172s, I've done the Cessna 150s, so I don't see much difference between them. And then I recently flew a Piper Warrior solo, which again, it was the first one that I'd ever flown solo other than the Cessnas, and then now it's gonna be my multi-engine. So yeah, so was trying to arrange that the whole week for some, I don't know, every week is just like trying to arrange things and actually getting it done. So yeah, so had to kind of noodle things. Oh, that's why. So my one inconsistent instrument student at work airport, I had him down that day where I was supposed to solo, and then the Baron trip came up, the Baron pickup came up, so I was like, hey, I actually gotta move you. I had been thinking of moving him anyway, because I was like, I am not as inconsistent as he has been. I was not planning around him and not getting these oh, actually these. So throttle, okay, we're gonna do 22 and we'll bring this back to 22. I'm not gonna go through the yeah. It seems pretty far back. We're just gonna put it there, I don't care. All right, so throttle, props, mixture, fuel pumps, nope, cowl flaps, close. Instruments, good. Oxygen, right on. Okay, so yeah, so I wasn't gonna like miss out on experiences for myself if that student was gonna end up canceling on me again anyway. So, went and did the Baron pickup. Flew there, flew back. I think it was fairly uneventful, but as usual, oh yeah. Oh yeah, so went with the, so it was the other instructor and the owner of both of those aircraft in the back. We took the 172 over, and then the other instructor was gonna fly the 172 back, and we were going to fly, the owner and I were gonna fly the Baron back. So we did that, got cross-country time there, chatted with the guy, there was another guy there, lots of stories, good times, got an approach. That was good. Moving on. Drove to MEI training airport. Got my first solo. So, are you guys ready for this? So it was the first time I was doing that solo. I'm still not used to how they do stuff up at that airport. I've trained out of there before for my instrument and a little bit for my commercial for the complex hours, but yeah, that's fine. I do every airport, every flight school has its own like sort of operations. So how things work, what they like, what they don't like, whatever, it's still new to me for that one. So I get there, and again, instructor's not there, so I go out and I start pre-flighting, and it needed fuel, so I was like, okay, so I can't remember. I asked the guy who had just been flying it. I didn't know Turns out he was a multi-student at the time, not an instructor. Probably should have verified that. So I asked about it, and he's like, oh yeah, just turn on one engine and taxi it over to the fuel. Cool, okay. So in my mind, I was thinking that that was, I don't know, is that a flight school thing? Like ops, that you only turn on one engine to taxi for fuel or something? So I turn on the left engine, which is the one that I always start with. So I turn on the left engine and I start trying to taxi. I have to make a left turn to the fuel. I couldn't turn very well. I ended up in the grass. Actual grass taxi, unintentional grass taxi. And I was so mad because like the whole time I was like, okay, I know that if I just turn on the second engine, I'll be fine, but I don't know whether I am allowed or not. So I end up in the grass and I'm so mad, and there's people watching me, and I shout out the freaking window. I'm like, can I turn on the second freaking engine, please? And so what ended up being the actual instructor came over and he's like, yeah, go ahead, turn on your right engine. I was like, I was so freaking mad. It was fine. I made sure it wasn't like no strike or anything. Grass is good for the tires. But I was so freaking embarrassed, and I was like, this is not my fault, but also it is. So real life Heidi grass taxi, got it to the fuel and everything, and I did. And it was one of those lessons of like, you know what? Screw flight school ops in certain scenarios. Just like, I knew what I should have done, what I needed to do, and I didn't, because I was like, oh, well, the flight school ops. I was like, no, just do the stuff. So yeah, so that was fine. After that, fueled up. Yeah, and then everything went fine. I went, got some cross country, came back, worked on, I think, steep turn, a little, maybe slow flight, but then steep turns, and I didn't like how that went. That was fine. Came in and landed. That was fine. And that was it for that day. So that was fun. Anyway. Oh, sorry, come back. You've only ever flown in the simulator, can't really say you've ever flown a plane. And we're like, oh, okay, sounds good. Yeah, and this is, the multi is like a whole different animal than like single engine ops. So like I'm still in the process of learning. I'm rated and everything, but each plane is different, and like I said, different places have different ops and different people have different ops, so trying to sort through that stuff is fun. Anyway, so, well, actually not entirely true. You did fly a plane once, and that was completely by accident. Okay, go. Story time. Well, PRN was interesting. Some notes you didn't check. Towers and power lines on the 3-2 approach below the mins, but you forgot to check the ODP or obstacle notes. Oh no. Well, that's okay. So that's where we're going. What do you mean? Yeah, okay. Oops. I know I should, and I usually do check the ODP and obstacle things. But since we're in the sim, oh no. Ouch, good job. Yes, plot twist, student was a career ATP, and I mean, right. And like it, and it is, it's not his fault. It was one of those moments of just like, I trusted where I shouldn't. And PIC responsibility, I know, trust but verify, I know. These stories scare you as a student, which, wait, okay. I will, like, there've been a variety of things that I've done and things that other people have done that I trust that it's not. You're gonna make mistakes. So it's good for me as an instructor to have these stories to tell to my students, so that it's like, okay, it's okay to make mistakes as long as, well, yeah, do your best. Do your best. Don't get complacent. Do the things the same way every time. Yeah. Just say there are some towers and power lines I should look for on short final. Okay, sounds good. I guess we'll see. So you had one friend from school when you were doing aviation maintenance, but he was doing flight operations. You hadn't seen each other in a while, so in May of 2021, you met up at FRG. The plan was to rent a plane, fly up to OXC, have lunch, and fly back. The whole time, you thought he was going to fly the plane, you were going to have lunch, and he was going to fly back. Okay. You're too trusting. I have definitely been too trusting, and I still am, but I've also, yes, gotten experience where it's like, nope. There are things, there is a balance to be struck. The things that you need to trust yourself with, and the things that you should trust other people with, and the things you shouldn't trust yourself with, and the things you shouldn't trust other people with. So fun. So you were in the instructor room going over the flight plan and the weather. He told you weather's fine, winds aren't going to be an issue. You walked out to the plane. He said he was going to fly left seat. Yep, you got to the plane, do the pre-flight, get in the plane, run the checklist, get the plane started up. He called for taxi. As soon as you got your taxi clearance, he goes, okay, you have controls. You were like, I can't say that, but yes, you were not prepared for that. Needless to say, you taxi like a drunken monkey. We all do at first, and sometimes later on too. Oddly enough, you can take off in a straight line down the runway. Excellent, so you got that rudder control. Hey, you know what, like well, I will say, taxiing and actually taking off are a big hurdle. So, you're right there. You just got to get over the other ones. Excellent, nicely done. Okay, so, yeah. As soon as you got airborne, the plane started bouncing around, and then next thing you knew, the plane started rolling to the left. Yes. Taxi is interesting the first time. Yep, used to driving, and here's this thing that doesn't work like anything a car does. Right. So I have some students get it right away. Some students you have to like give it some time and actually have them just like really focus on the taxi. And sometimes it's like keep the hands in the laps for some people. Because of that, you're not turning the yoke in order to turn the plane and things like that. So it's everybody learns differently and gets things differently, and it's, yeah, interesting. You're like, okay, the plane is turning to the left. Why is the plane turning to the left? Is it supposed to be doing that? Every flight student ever. Congrats, yes, you actually thought you were going to stall and crash this thing in the middle of Long Island. You about damn near gave up flying at that point. No, once you got over the Long Island Sound, the turbulence died down, so you were fine. Nice, excellent. It is, like, when everything goes well, and I say this with my students, when everything goes well, flying a plane is easy. When things don't go well, that's what your training is for. But it is, like, that's totally normal stuff for someone who doesn't have, like, a background of flight experience, like, actual flight experience. So, all good, all good. You've been flying in the simulator since 1998, so almost 28 years now. Oh, that's excellent. But it is, I will say, I've been using the simulator during my journey since the beginning, and I ask my students if they use it, and if they use it, that's fine. My instructor, number one instructor, scolded me for it, and I am very particular with my students about use it for flows and procedures, but actual stuff that like feedback, potentially aerodynamics, things like that, it's not going to be the same. So it is. There are a lot of differences in the sim than there are in the actual plane, so it can definitely throw you off. Took off from runway 14 and needed to turn north to go up to Connecticut. Either you didn't know or somehow forgot you needed to turn. Again, it happens. And like, if you did that, understanding like the runway situation and the okay, so you first learn how to fly the plane. Navigation comes after flying the plane. So that's okay. You just focus on flying the plane, and navigating comes second. You get that? You mainly fly the commercial jets in the simulator. Right. Mostly the Boeing 747-400. Nice. I definitely need to get into that now that I'm coming up on potentially getting to those points. Probably not that plane, but like bigger planes, more complicated planes. That is the goal soon. Like, I mean, we're in the multi for now. but I need to get better at that for myself. Been flying the 150 and the 152 and the 172 in the sim for a while, and yeah, I'll get there. We'll get there. So there's a lot that goes into it, and like there can be some sort of like beginner, you can get it right away and then like regress as a student and then get it again, or you can just be really terrible at first and then get it. And it's interesting seeing how like different people react to everything. So, okay, sorry, I'm gonna get back to doing the things. So did that, that was fine, I guess. Then had lessons at home airport. I have to open this. Oh my gosh. So this was still like last week of April. All right, so flew with enthusiastic private student at home airport, and we did short and soft field takeoffs and landings and worked on our pitch and power management, it appears. Perfect, amazing. Then had, I don't know what I did in between, but then had eventually lesson with now commercial student, was my instrument student, and we worked on, we filed IFR for cross country, and we tried to get some actual. He's been excited for that, and now that it's starting to not be like icing potentiality, we were gonna try for it, but the clouds ended up being very few and far between, as well as high. So we ended up doing, letting him do, ATC clearances and procedures, did an RNAV with a hold. We canceled and then just let him get a hold. And then as we got back, we did commercial maneuvers, chandelles, the steep spiral, and lazy eights. Cool, amazing, moving on. Then, was supposed to have instrument student and inconsistent instrument student at work airport the next day, and had instrument student. We introduced him in practice circle to lands. Yeah, I think. So we did a VOR circle, VOR alpha circle, ILS circle, and an RNAV back into home airport, into work airport circle. Excellent. Inconsistent inconsistent instrument student canceled, surprise, surprise, which was okay because the owner of the Baron was going to service the boots. So he was I don't know if it's like lubricating it, cleaning it, whatever, moisturizing it, I don't know, with something, with stuff. So he was gonna do that, and I wanted to be help with that and understand it. So went a little long on instrument students' flight, so didn't get back until owner was basically done with it. But he's gonna have to do it again anyway, because the stuff must have been old, or it might have frozen over the winter, so it didn't come out the way he wanted it to. So yeah, that was gonna be a thing eventually. All right, next. Did another solo at MEI airport, and that was a little windier, bumpier, which still ended up being okay. One of the instructor who was there came in and told me that the door handle, so my MEI instructor always told me to have the handle all the way up. So that instructor told me to have it slightly angled, Oh, no, this was my first solo that he told me that. Okay, hang on. Yeah. Sorry. First solo, he told me that. Have it slightly angled because of how the things are. Crappy trainer plane, right? So have it slightly angled because the handle on the outside sticks out otherwise and could then potentially open. So my first solo, I had it angled, and I told my MEI instructor about that. That was one of the things I told him about. I mean, I told him about the grass taxi and everything and how that, but I told him about that as well. And so we talked about it. He's like, no, have it all the way up. Don't let other people tell you what to do. Only have what I tell you to do. And I was like, okay. So then that time I had it slightly angled, and then as I was heading out for the for cross country time, I noticed it looked like it wanted to open, and I was freaking out because I was like, oh God, is there gonna be drag and it's gonna mess stuff up? And I was like, ah. So luckily I was right near Work Airport, so I decided to stop in at Work Airport. Owner, I think, was flying the Baron in, and I was making my calls, and I ended up throwing a niner in there, and he comes on, and he's like, did I hear a niner? And I was like, yes, you did. As I was freaking out and trying to come into land, because this is the first time that I'd landed at somewhere not at MEI training airport when I'm solo in that plane. So it was fine. And it was, yeah. So landed, shut it, got it figured out, chilled for a little bit, took off again, headed back, worked on the steep turns again, still crap, but yeah, was what it was. So, so that was that. It was fine. No, it wasn't. Maybe it was that time, maybe it was another time. I figured out my steep turns. No, I don't think it was that time, but I'm gonna say it anyway in case it was. I realized that I kept on, my bank was not where it should be. In the smaller single engine planes, if your bank goes like this a little bit, it's okay. But when you're in the longer planes, any little deviation is gonna have a really large, a much larger deviation in your other stuff, primarily pitch. So when my bank wasn't holding where it needed to be, my pitch was just completely off. So that was that. Yeah, did slow flight, and yeah, started working on the precision practice I have. So started working on the yeah, I was working on the pitch and power management and stuff. Excellent, there. Okay, coming back. And speaking of which, when you were doing your FAA exam for your flight dispatch license, you were doing the oral part of the exam, and one question that the examiner asked you during the exam threw you off. The examiner asked you why hydraulic system 4 was critical on the Boeing 747-400, okay? Sitting there trying to figure out how that was relevant to flight dispatch. Okay. And the only reason the examiner asked you that question was he got tipped off the previous day by another guy in your class who took his exam the day before you did, that you were very knowledgeable in the Boeing 747-400. Threw you under the bus. Oh my gosh. Okay, so so what'd you say? How'd that end up? That's so funny. Never let other, well, I mean, there's only so much you can do there, but always know more than what you tell your examiner. I think that applies everywhere. That's so funny. Hydraulics 4 controls the brakes and steering on the Boeing 747-400. So it did. It threw you off because you weren't sure why he was asking, not because you didn't know. Ground steering anyway. Right. Interesting. Okay.